as far as you and writing, what got you really into it? What made you decide that you had to write a book of this magnitude?
I think it was mainly that the stories in my head wouldn't leave me alone. Like, they were in there, and people have asked me that sort of thing before, and it's like, I don't know if I had a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I either wrote them down or I just sat there and played them out in my head, so I just, I started writing when I was, quite young, so it just, I don't know, at first it just started out as just for me, because I wanted to be able to, be like, look, I wrote a book, and I like it too much. I would like to have it as an actual full-time career.
Oh, absolutely. That is like the ultimate dream, How in the world did you keep all of these people together?
I think that was relatively, I've already told you about my plotting, which actually my husband calls it my beautiful minding, because it's like in the movie where you do stuff on all the windows. That's what I do. So, but keeping all the me's together was relatively easy, because in the draft stage, Susie didn't actually have a disorder. I was just going to keep her as just being, a little bit eccentric, who imagines her other personalities, and then that got too confusing, because where do you draw that line between imaginative and actually having a problem? She was getting way too eccentric, and so I decided to cross over to the disorder range, and I think when I was plotting it and I was working out all the different characters, it was easier, because I thought of the way that I see my different personalities. Like,
you speak to anyone who thought they may have had a multiple personality disorder? How did you get the feel to make what I've read so far seem so authentic?
Because of the time and place that it was sort of set in, some people have picked up on this, she's a bit misdiagnosed.
Yeah.
So her psychologist he's a bit of a jerk, and he just gives her medication, and that's not how DID works. You can't just, cover it up with medication, which is why it never works for her.
Okay.
So, there was a lot of editing, a lot of research, and, a lot of different people, because I have like a fairly big beta reader process. So.
Okay. Or do you feel like each me was equally promoted or shared, or do you regret maybe that you could have added something a little more or a little less when you went about working with them?
I do have a few that I would have liked to have delved into. Like, I didn't delve into Bailey very much, and Ivy. I really like Ivy and Rochelle. But I like a lot of them. Really, when you're a writer, when is enough enough? You can't. You just got to draw the line at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
You just spend forever doing it. And
So why 8?
I have no idea. I wish there was some sort of symbolic meaning. I really do, but that's when the title came to me. It was Dead Bunnies Make All 8 of Me Cry, and so I just made the book to fit that title, I guess. I just was like, no, there can only be 8, and for a while I wanted to get rid of one of them because she wasn't working at the time, and I'm like, no, you've got to make it work, because it has to be 8. 7 doesn't sound right.
Susie was really, her personality alone, she was kind of like she was angry, she was fussy, she was argumentative, she was everything. Was any of that you?
I think it's me how I would, not how I would like to be, but I'm a fairly like placid, easygoing sort of person. So I think Susie is the way that I feel sometimes when I'm frustrated at the world. Like, I've come home from work and that customer really annoyed me and I wish I could have told her what I actually thought. I know, I'll just sit here and write.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to your cover. Tell me about your cover.
Oh my goodness. The Dead Bunnies cover was painful. I've got, how many did I said 20? In the 20s, I'm pretty sure. I've got 20 mock-ups of different covers. And, you know, all of them, when I made them, I'm like, this is it. This is the one. I love it. And then a week would go by. I'm like, I hate this cover. I hate looking at it. And, you know, like, it sort of push came to shove. And I'm like, nah, the next one I make is going to be it. And you're sticking to it. And I still look at it, I'm like, but did I pick the right one? If I'd picked that one, would it be selling better? And would I, like, you know, like, it's like the writing, it's like editing. At some point, you've got to be like, no.
That's it. Yeah. I work totally different with the storyboarding. How does this work for you? And how did you manage to keep everything in order the way you did?
Well, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned before, I'm not a good plot person. I really have to make myself plot. So what you see behind me, each one of those little squares is just a chapter.
Okay.
So I've got written on that little square that, you know, like I've got the heading of the chapter or what number chapter it is. In the case of Dead Bunnies, I've got her age, how old she was in that particular chapter, and then just a quick rundown of what happens in that chapter. And that's all I storyboard, which sometimes I'll do like a character name and like a little bit of a rundown and maybe like a couple of just random photos that I've found that represent that person and what like, but that's about it.
Okay. All right. Now, this was the one thing, and I know we cracked up about it when you answered it, with the men at work reference. The 80s was just my thing. And when I read that, I was like, oh my gosh, is she using that because it's an Aussie thing, or is it because it's a her thing? Because it's definitely a me thing. You know?
It's sort of one of those songs that, like, as soon as I wrote, and I come from the land down under, I couldn't help myself. I had to finish it.
I got to actually look at your bio and saw the listing. I thought, holy cow, I need to get more ebooks, you know? So which one was your favorite out of all of them?
I think, I know I already answered this, so I'm like, am I gonna answer the same today as I did the other day?
Oh, don't worry, they don't know it.
So, I have a soft spot for the short story Skeleton Trees.
Okay.
But I think Searching for the Silent Lady and that whole world is probably my favourite. I really like going back to that world, and I will finish the third one soon. I'm sure I will. It'll happen.
Okay, so I think the last one that I asked you was, have you ever met an actor or an actress or an author who's made a mega difference in your life?
Holly Black. I got the chance to give her an interview. It was around this time last year, actually, and I actually won it in a competition, this random competition.
Oh, awesome!
And I was so nervous, but she was lovely. She was so lovely, and we ended up going off on this big tangent because she found out that I was a writer too, and so she wanted to hear all about you know, dead bunnies and stuff. She was just amazing. She was just so lovely.
Oh, that's
and
good.
you know, she sort of, I was at a crossroads of going, should I self-publish or should I keep trying? And she really made me sort of keep going down the path of trying. So
Good. So, what is the one thing that you want, if anything, for your readers to take away from Dead Bunnies? What do you want, the one thing that just cling more than anything else?
Really, I just want them to have enjoyed it. Like, I want, you know, like, there's nothing better than you know, there's nothing better than putting down a book, and there may not have been any, like, moral sort of thing that you can take from it or anything else,
right.
But just to have really enjoyed a good book, that's like, there's nothing better than that, and that's really all I want. I mean, some of my other books that are to come have more in-depth meaning, but with Dead Bunnies, it's really mainly just for entertainment. It's a little bit sad in places, so it's like morbid entertainment all the same.
That's hidden beneath everything. To be able to walk away from it and say, you know what, that was pretty good. I love that. You know, so you just want them to be happy. Walk away from the book, entertained.
Be able to, like, close it and be like, oh, it was good. And then put it on their bookshelf and pick up the next one, which is what we do.
Yes.
But yeah, I just, you know, like, some of my stuff I try to be confronting with certain things, but yeah, generally I just want them to enjoy it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I am definitely enjoying it already.